Ah, it's so good. Come on! Hey, welcome back everybody. Thanks for checking in. In today's episode of my wrecked yellow jacket named Gemma, we're going to be playing with quite a few things. A couple things under the hood, something in the interior, and potentially something a little bit bigger around the car. Stay tuned. Alrighty, so first things first. The other day, I want to say it was sub 10 outside. It was probably near zero, or with wind, it was about zero, maybe in the negatives. So also look at this beautiful light. I don't know if I showed this on video yet. Oh, so nice. So, where's a good spot? I guess I can just leave that there. So I fired the car up when it was super cold out. It did two things that kind of worried me. One, none of my dashboard lit up at all. For those who don't know, I'm sure most do, but the GTO has a couple analog gauges, and it also does have, digital gauge on the bottom and whatnot. None of this was lighting up, and my radio did light up, but that thing's a piece of shit, who cares? But yeah, none of this lit up, which kind of scared me. Again, it was super cold outside. So when I fired the car up, I got no lights on the dash, nothing. And then I also had a really loud power steering scream, if you will. It sounded like the pump was screaming for help. And after maybe 3 seconds, it sounded fine. So I was like, okay, that's not good. But today, before I left work, I was like, let me pop the hood really quick. So you can see, she looked dirty down there. She looked greasy. And that does look like power steering fluid. So we're going to be diving into that. My reservoir is not really mounted. So that could be part of the problem. It's vibrations that might have loosened one of these hoses. So that's probably what it is. I've had every hose clamp on this power steering system loosen up on me since I've gotten the car. Oh, turned it off. So yeah, I think we're gonna be removing the reservoir, or just pulling it off its little slip joint, fixing that. Another thing I noticed too, which asshole of me, whatever. This is the air filter came off, so we're gonna have to now redo this other hose clamp as well. And also, since I'm pulling it out, this thing is pretty beat to hell. If I can't straighten it out and make it nicer, I'll probably get another air filter at some point. This does do the job, but I would like to clean and oil this if I have to, while it's out. What else do we have? We have a mysterious fluid here, some here. So I don't know if this rad hose is leaking or what the case may be. I haven't really had any puddles or anything under the car, so that's why I haven't looked under the hood. I was under the hood maybe a week ago, just checking all my fluids, and everything looked fine. So these are new issues. But yeah, when you get an old car, well, older car, and especially when you have something like this where it's been through some trauma, you need to kind of keep up on them to make sure that they don't die under you. And I also was reading in some forums that apparently this fuel hose with the yellow sticker on it, supposedly this gets rubbed through when you have the plastic fuel rail covers on the car. These are actually from my 05 Gloria. This car didn't have any when I got it. But apparently the 04 and the 0506, the 04 is different than the 0506. So I would like to put those covers on, but I don't think I can. So I guess those are just gonna be wall art forever. But yeah, apparently this fuel line gets rubbed through, and it does look like it's been changed. It doesn't, it could be factory, but it doesn't have any chew through it. Usually, as far as I could tell, the passenger side, which is this one, actually rubs through the fuel line and causes fires. So I can only imagine how many GTOs were actually lost to fires from that. But yeah, so let's dive into this. Look at that air filter, and I also have something really special in that box back there. I guess you can call this an unboxing, even though I've already unboxed this on my own, but I don't know if I've said it in a video. I probably did when I was doing the airbags. So the only cigarette lighter in this car is in the center console, and the only way to get a second cigarette lighter, aside from putting one in yourself, is when the car came with the smoker's package, or if it's a 2006. From my understanding, the 04 and 05 had the optional smoker's package, and the 06, all of them came with this secondary, basically the 06s all came with the smoker's package, which gives you not one, but just 2 total cigarette lighters in the car. So what I did, stumbled across it on Facebook one night, and I pulled the trigger as soon as I could. Best $42 I've ever spent. I now have an ashtray, so I have my smoker's package. Funny enough, when I did the airbags in the car and I had to pull basically a lot of shit apart, I found this plug under the center console or under the dash. So I know that this will work. I don't know if there's a fuse in it for that spot, but if there isn't, obviously I just put one in. But I already know that this plug is on the harness for the 04. And yeah, so now instead of, usually in my car, I'll show you, when you press this door, it folds down. That's usually where I keep my wallet. Now when you press this, it slides out. And look at that. We got an ashtray and we have our cigarette lighter. And what's cool, you see the green ring around the cigarette lighter. It's the same deal as the ignition cylinder. It lights up actually when it has power, which is pretty damn cool. And also, shout out to the guy I bought this from. I believe his name was Tim Fox on Facebook. He just parted out a red goat. Don't know why, but I don't know why I parted the car out, but he TIG welded this and sent it to me. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Makes me want to get a TIG welder. So this will be pretty cool wall art I'll have to hang up. But yeah, super nice guy. Sent the thing out as soon as possible and got it within a couple days, so which was pretty cool. So yeah, I guess this is going to be added to today's fun adventure. All right, so that's what the cigarette lighter should look like. You know, the green ring around it, pretty cool. I'm pretty sure there's just a little LED bulb you can actually change, but we'll deal with that at a later date. But yeah, so it should have a green ring. It's been a long Monday, guys, I'm sorry. So that'll look pretty cool. But yeah, if you look right now, you press this door, folds down, and mine sometimes doesn't want to come back, you know, actually close. And also this door is complete shit. It's got like tape residue on it and stuff. It's a little beat up. I do have another door for this style in the glove box. That's actually a mint shape that came with the car, but I'll save that for a rainy day. All right, first things first, we'll open this up. This whole piece pops off. There's a couple plugs just for the window switches and traction control. And then this whole section will kind of just be removed, or I'll flop it over. And then I believe this section might have to come off to get into here. And also my mounting tabs are actually broken for this as well. So I'll have to find some screws for the new cigarette lighter. But the plug is like right down there. Alrighty, got our neutral. E-brake's probably not going to hold. So if you're rolling to the door, I apologize, mother. But basically just want to get under here and kind of pop this thing up wherever it will. Yep, just like that. It probably broke something, but it's okay. Now, usually there is a screw back there somewhere. Yep, where that hole is. Mine was already out when I got the car, so that is just going to stay the way it is. So this lifts out, sort of. And it's got clips everywhere and whatnot. So now when you look under here, we have our traction control and our window switches, so we'll be unplugging those. Let's put the car in fourth, actually. Oh my God, nobody's happy with me. Yeah, so I'll unplug these 2 switches, we'll pop this over, and then we'll continue on to this. Said, just the 2 plugs. That piece is gone. Now we have this little guy, which it does look like it actually. Sorry, I have you guys on 0.5. It actually does sit behind these 2 screws, and it looks like the silver panel will pop out. So yeah, let me grab my Phillips head, and we'll do that. Alrighty, Phillips 1 and 2 are out. I actually am using the little rubber insert tray as my screw holder. And now we're just gonna kind of, I guess the radio bezels come with it. So I kind of just pry this off gently, sweetly and gently. Try not to break anything. That honestly might be enough room to just get it out. Yep. And yeah, that's out. Just gonna be that's gonna go in the GTO bin. And now, if we look under here, there's our plug. That, you know, white plug right there, the 3-prong. And you can see that middle Phillips screw is also one of the mounting points that broke off of that last holder. So I'll have to take that screw out. And then I think the sides might also be tabs. These Phillips also might be mounting screws, but I'll grab the new piece and we'll compare. So yeah, so you can see those copper tabs, 1, 2, and numero 3. And you can see on the new, still in 2 times. You can see on here, we have 3 mounting tabs. So we'll snake this in there, plug it in, and screw her up, and should have a operating cigarette lighter, which is pretty cool. I would like to put my fully legal radar detector back in the car. And I can't put my precious radar detector back in if I only have one plug, and the one thing that's taking up my plug is a Bluetooth thingy, because this radio's Bluetooth doesn't work, and I don't feel like buying a freaking aux cord and then buying a dongle because the USB doesn't do shit. All right, ladies and gents, the 3 screws are in. Now let's see. Oh man, there's no light. Shit. All right, before I put all this back together, I'm actually going to test if... oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm actually going to test if my Bluetooth transmitter works in there, just to see if it's a live outlet. Yeah, no, that's not lit up. Like I said, there's a very good chance that since this car didn't have a smoker's package, it could just have a dead, no fuse in the fuse panel. I think that's somewhere under the dash. So yeah, let's just see before I put anything back together, in case something is wrong. All right, so I have the Bluetooth thing in there, and let's turn the key, and it does light up. So the outlet is live, but it is, all right, shut up. Thank you, Gemma. There's a very good chance that the LED is either blown or something else to that nature. So we're gonna deal with that at a later date, because I still have to come back in here to redo the radio wiring. Really not the end of the world. Yes, it would have been cool if the thing lit up, but it's whatever. So yeah, I'm gonna put this back in its spot, and then we're gonna slap it all back together. Just look how nice. It's so good. I love it. She's back together, and just look how nice. Oh, god damn it. I just love the fit and finish of these cars. So, obviously everything's back in normal. I tried replacing the little plastic bushings on the shifter, but it still has the same side-to-side wobble, so it's whatever. At some point in time, I would like to replace this Sicky short throw with a taller one, maybe something that's up here, whatever. I think they look a lot cooler, but it's so cool. So I probably will look into why this lights and that doesn't. It's whatever. It has power to it. I can hook my radar detector back up and lovey-dovey-da. So now that that's done and the engine's cooled down, let's move on to stuff in the bay. We're under the hood. I think the first thing I'm going to do is actually pop off this intake elbow, as well as the filter and whatnot, and just kind of move all this out of the way so I can get to the power steering first. And depending how this goes, and while I'm cleaning stuff and drying stuff off, maybe I'll take a look at the filter and see if I have another filter that'll, fit its place. But honestly, I think I'm just going to pop this one hose clamp here. I think it's 5/16. I don't know. It's a straight blade as well, so whatever works. Let's see. All right, so as you can tell, this thing's disgustingly dirty. Yeah, it's pretty nasty under here. So that being said, I'm just going to give her a little wipey wipe. It's possible we have a crack in the bottom of this thing since it is plastic. But I would like to clean it up and kind of just, I don't know, see what happens, see if it leaks directly from anywhere. I'm definitely going to tighten up each hose clamp, but like I said, there is a chance that this thing could be cracked. Could have cracked in the accident, and it took a while just to kind of bleed through. Whatever the case may be, I do daily drive this thing. I do daily beat the living piss out of it. So anything's kind of possible at this rate, but it should look good. This pump is disgusting. You can see this thing's been actually leaking pretty good, and somehow I didn't catch it till now. But like I said, when you get an old car, or realistically any car, that's why you gotta do some checkups on it every once in a while just to make sure she's happy and healthy. And clearly, Gemma is not that happy nor healthy. Well, she's healthy, she's just not happy. But I'll get this cleaned up and then I'll give an update. Alrighty, so power steering situation seems to be cleaned up. This hose clamp right here, it's a 1/4 inch nut, I guess, on the end. It had a couple turns in it to tighten up, so I think it was just loose. Again, I've had just about every hose clamp on the power steering system come loose on me, so tighten that up. The bigger one didn't really need to tighten at all, and same with the one that's right there above the alternator. That didn't need it either. It's going into the pump, so that's all good. I cleaned up as much as I could. I did end up using this this stuff, and you can see how many towels I went through. It was nasty. So cleaned up as much of that stuff as I could, so at least now I can monitor the leak. So yeah, that's good. And I found another problem. And I pulled the intake pipe out, left the MAF plugged in just because whatever. But so this goes, you know, goes like this. I remember this was very close to the belt. Turns out it was actually really close to the belt, to the point of where it was touching it. So it looks like we actually ground through, you know, went through some metal. I think that's actually just a plug. There's nothing to it, but we did bite a little hole in the bottom. So I am gonna have to JB weld that up and kind of just plug it for now. The car has been not running weird, but last day or so, I want to say, if I say I'm downshift rev matching up to a light and say like second, you know, I go through all the gears and come down the second gear, and I'm coming up to the red light and I clutch in at maybe 2,000-3,000 RPMs, put it in neutral and just go to roll. The car stumbles very close to dying, and recently it actually has died maybe 2 or 3 times, you know, within the same course of driving it. Haven't really thought much of it, but yeah, I would say that is probably part of it, because that's right after the MAF, so it might be kind of throwing the ECU off. But so we'll take care of that. Yeah, I got a little scared. I thought this purple plug was for that, but it turns out this actually runs up and goes under here. There's a plug under here for the AC, but AC is not hooked up, so I don't really give a shit about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to patch up the intake pipe. I'm probably gonna try to mount this. As much as I don't want to, I might just zip screw this into here just so it's... Actually, no, I don't have my drill gun. My buddy Ant has it. Never mind. Okay, well, this is gonna have to stay jiggly wiggly for a little while. But yeah, and I'm gonna have to rig some sort of mount to keep the radiator pulled forwards so the intake doesn't get pushed back into the power steering pulley again. All right, well, this is drying up. Hoping one coat is thick enough on this thing. I laid it on pretty good, so gonna let that dry up. I think I'm gonna take the good old K&N air filter. Hello. I'm gonna take this thing inside, clean it up, oil it, and then, you know, eventually put this back on. I thought I had another filter laying around that would probably fit the car, but all the other ones that I have are probably double the length, and yeah, it's no bueno. So once we get the intake situation sorted, I think the car is I think she's good for now. And also, for anybody wondering, I pulled this line off while I cleared all the power steering stuff, which goes there. So yeah, I'm not missing nothing. It's somewhere. But yeah, since that whole area is cleaned up, I think I'm gonna go clean this thing up while that dries, and then maybe figure out a mount situation to keep this thing peeled back a little bit, give the intake some room. While we wait for the intake tube JB weld patch job that hopefully holds to dry, I also went ahead and brought this inside, past my mother very discreetly. She definitely didn't see me. I definitely didn't wash this thing out my sink and use the K&N cleaner, so that's drying out. And I figured, what the hell, since I have it. I cleaned out the MAF, if anybody's wondering. This is what the inside of a MAF looks like. It looks like, there's like little resistors or something between the lines. It's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. Or diodes, whatever you want to call those. But cleaned this thing out with specific MAF cleaner. I also cleaned out the connector with specific connector cleaner. Did the same for this little guy and for this little guy. So yeah, I'm kind of done with this for now. Nothing I can really do until everything dries. I still need to oil the filter after it dries, of course. So yeah, I might, I don't know, like a workout or something just to kill some time. But yeah. So here is here's my air quote big thing that is going to be coming up for the car, which is going to be doing brakes on all 4 corners, because that is metal on metal from the pad. And if I show you in there, there looks to be pad left. You see that black area there, but it is getting metal on metal at the top. So that gives me reason to believe that this thing's kind of going out. And if you look though, everything else looks fine except this one top corner, or you know, I guess this is, you know, this section here, this area. So most likely the rotor's actually bent, and that's probably what's causing this. So since the rotor's bent, it probably does cause a little bit of vibration in the wheel. And on top of that, the pads are definitely not wearing evenly, because like I said, you see pad life there, but you clearly are getting metal on metal here. So I'm trying to not drive this thing too much. Really just driving it to and from work, basically. I'm not really going on too many joy rides with it until rotors and pads come in for all 4 corners. And yeah, I could get away with just doing this one wheel, but you know, I might as well do all of it while I'm there. And then you know, obviously I can make a video for you guys on it. And on top of that, it's one of those things that when you do it, you know that everything's good. Also, while I'm in there, I would like to tighten up the e-brake shoes if they aren't bad. And if they are bad, I'll have to order a set of shoes. But it's just one of those preventative maintenance things that once you do it, you're kind of set for a while. And that's going to be one, you know, another part of the car that I know is stout. So we're still waiting for everything to dry. Filled up some power steering fluid. So now this, so now this can, where's the sweet spot here? Where's the sweet spot? The sweet spot? There we go. Yeah. So now this is good. And obviously if I see the fluid goes down anytime soon and anything gets oily again, then we have a leak or we have a crack somewhere. But power steering, bueno. Still letting all the other stuff dry out. But yeah, just straightened up in here a little bit. And another weird little fact about GTOs. I could have sworn, but I could be wrong, in my 05, I could fit a factory tire in the spare well, you know, the spare tire cutout in the trunk. I tried putting one of the TSW wheels, which is the same size as a stock wheel, and won't fit. So I guess I'm gonna have to actually buy a spare tire for this car, which I don't mind, but it's a little hard to track down parts for a car like this, especially something specific as a spare tire that's going to fit any 4 corners, because the offsets in the center bores are weird, and yeah, it goes down the line. But yeah, I took off this coupler, cleaned it up a little bit, and I did the same for, you know, the MAF housing and that rubber piece that goes inside of the intake filter. So everything's getting cleaned up, if you will, and yeah, probably just gonna kill some time, let these things dry out, and we'll go from there. So for shits and gigs, I popped off this, you know, fuse and relay cover that's in the engine bay. Look at this. We have a missing relay and we have 2 burnt up ones. And if we look in here, sorry. The missing one is actually for daytime running lamps. Yeah, I think that's kind of funny. And then, what else we got? High-speed relay, which, as you guys know, I still have not fixed the plug here. So it blew the relay when that plug burnt up. And then the other one that's toasty, if we look over here, is the heated rear window relay. And as far as I could remember, I've actually been using that almost every day. So maybe this just recently burned out, or I don't know, but apparently it's a little burned up. So I'm gonna have to buy some more relays and whatnot and get an extra set of fuses for this car, because I somehow managed to lose all of my spare fuses that I had. So looks good. All right, I'm running out of time, so let's throw this thing back together. Well, she's all back together. For those who don't know, K&N air filters are actually red because of the oil coating on the outside of them. So this one could probably use a little bit more. A little hard to say when you put the light right on it, but yeah, it's red, and before it was, you know, blackish gray, so that's good. It's gonna be hard to show. If we look down, oh, you're gonna be upside down for a second. Look down in here, power steering pump has plenty of room. As you can see, that's the nub that I repaired. So you got plenty of room to that. This intake actually is way more sturdy. I don't know if it's just for me taking the whole thing off, redoing all the hose clamps and putting it into a better spot. But even with this thing jiggling around, this actually stays in a way better spot than before. Probably still gonna rig this so it stays back a little bit, but everything is now clear of the belt system. Everything is reconnected. Everything is good. I'm definitely gonna let it dry a little bit more though before I take it out, go grab a bite to eat. But yeah, look at that. Look how pretty. Be nice once, you know, the only polished, the only clean thing in the bay is the intake. So it'll be nice to clean everything else up somewhat soon. All right, ladies and gents, let's see if I forgot or broke anything. the power steering's not spraying, so that's good. But yeah, looks like we're good. Let it run for a couple minutes and then guess I'll see if I can go break it. Alrighty, let's let her in. Alrighty, well, I successfully acquired my checkers, so I'm a happy camper for the night. And oh my god, come on!